What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. Dr. Mike Axler here, PhD in Applied Human Physiology, Professor of Exercise Science, 60-plus time marathoner and ultramarathoner, and performance coach. Today, we are talking about BCAAs, or branched chain amino acids. If you have ever seen anyone, or maybe you've done this yourself, shaking up some red or light green or blue liquid in a shaker bottle at the gym. I know about 10, 15 years ago, BCAAs were all the rage. This one's going to be for you. And if you haven't seen anyone drinking BCAAs, if this is a new topic, then welcome. Let's talk about BCAAs. So it's crazy to me that websites are still selling BCAAs and gym goers are still taking BCAAs. And what BCAAs are, or the branched chain amino acids, because this is an acronym, these are what make up dietary proteins. We have 20 amino acids, or building blocks, which make up proteins. And the BCAAs, or the branched chain amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, are called the BCAAs, and they are the branched chain amino acids. These are the amino acids which are responsible for MPS, or muscle protein synthesis. So the idea was that if you take BCAAs in a powder form and you shake it up in a shaker bottle, then you'll be growing all day long and just growing more and more and more muscle. That was the idea. But in recent years, over the past 10 to 15 years, this has very much been debunked by scientific studies. And it's just bananas to think that people still take these, right? So runners and lifters alike will take BCAAs because they're marketed for their muscle sparing and recovery enhancing effects. But most people don't actually know what they do, and they don't know the science behind the real results. So how people typically use their BCAAs, or how people typically drink their BCAAs, is they usually, as I had said, they sip them during workouts, whether that's on the run, on the bike, or specifically going to be within the gym. And their goal is to prevent muscle breakdown. People also take this before fasted cardio sessions. You always see the gym rats who are there with like a hood up and like the beats over top of the hood. And they're like, walking on an incline at like 2 or 3 miles an hour, drinking their BCAAs as if this is like, them taking on the world, walking for 20 minutes on an incline. It's like the hardest thing ever, right? And what they'll do is they'll replace, and people will typically take their BCAAs instead of actually improving their diet, instead of being consistent and actually having a high protein intake. Now, why this doesn't work, let me please explain the science to you. So as I had said, BCAAs, which are leucine, isoleucine, and valine, these 3 branched chain amino acids are 3 of the 9 EAAs, or the essential amino acids, which make up muscle protein synthesis. And it doesn't matter if you are a runner, a biker, a swimmer, a lifter, or anyone in the general population. You know that at the end of the day, if you exercised or if you didn't exercise, you're going to need to recover. If you don't sleep, you're going to get sick. Your immune system's going to tank. You're going to feel crappy. You're going to feel cranky. Your muscles aren't going to recover. So everybody goes through MPS, or muscle protein synthesis, every single day. And if you were to ask the question or answer it on Jeopardy of how do we go through muscle protein synthesis, the answer is the 9 essential amino acids. However, we need all 9, not just 3, not just the BCAAs, to go through muscle protein synthesis. So the research very much shows that there is very minimal benefit to taking BCAAs without an actual adequate or high protein diet. Further, studies in endurance athletes show no performance effects or no recovery gains after long runs, long cycles, and long swims. And often this is just flavored water, which people like to shake up, and they buy at excessively high prices. Alrighty, so please let me offer you a smarter and science-backed alternative. So this is what you should do instead. Instead of having the BCAAs, prioritize total protein intake, total daily protein intake. around 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram per day, backed by the science. You can look it up yourself. Or around 1 gram per pound per day is sufficient to make sure that you're recovering, you are healthy, and you're building as much lean and efficient muscle as possible. Second, instead of going with the BCAAs, go for whey protein shakes or essential amino acid shakes if you're on the go. If you're doing something like an ultra marathon or an Ironman triathlon, it would not hurt to have a protein shake along the way or some EAAs. If you're going to the gym once a day for like an hour, you don't need EAAs. You're not working nearly as hard as you think you are. Unless you're going to do a 100-mile ultra marathon or an Ironman triathlon, then we can start talking about those. For runners specifically, I'm talking to you. Fuel with carbs and protein both before and after sessions. If you're doing an AM and a PM or like a long run or a race, we've talked a whole lot about this on this channel and on my Instagram. You just need to get ready for your workout and recover from your workout with the dynamic duo of carbs and protein. For lifters, both pre and post-workout meals should have complete protein sources. We're talking lean meats, lean dairy, poultry, soy, eggs, meat, all the rest of it. Really, really solid before, within 2 or 3 hours before, and within 2 or 3 hours after. And you're tapping out muscle protein synthesis for the day. You're already doing the right things. And lastly, the best alternative to taking BCAAs is to focus on quality of protein, timing of protein, and your overall nutrition. Look at whole foods with one ingredient. Fruits, veggies, lean proteins. As Linkin Park says, leave out all the rest. Awesome. Why this works. So save money and perform better. You don't need BCAAs. Nobody needs BCAAs in isolation. You just need complete protein sources, which have all 9 essential amino acids. Complete proteins are way better than partial blends for muscle growth and recovery. If you have like 1 glass of milk, that's 8 grams of protein or 10 grams of protein, and you're getting in all 9 essential amino acids, not to mention all the calcium, the phosphorus, the vitamin D, and all the whole host of other vitamins and minerals you get from a glass of milk. If you want to go with almond milk, if you want to go with soy milk, that's all good, but that's going to be much, much, much more nutrient dense than just taking in BCAAs. For runners, as we all know, we're going to need thousands of calories sometimes per day. So real food is going to be to supplement every single time. For lifters, optimize your protein intake both before and after training. And lastly, you'll get better gains and spend less money if you just eat nutrient-dense foods. So with that, I hope you did learn a thing or 2 or 3 about BCAAs. Every semester, I ask my students if they've heard of BCAAs, if they've taken BCAAs, and each year it's going down and down and down and down. I know when I was in college in like 2013 through 2017, BCAAs were all the rage, and by the time I was in grad school in 2018 through 2023, people weren't really taking them all that much because there was ample amounts of scientific research to detail that BCAAs don't really do too much. And that's the wonderful thing about science, is that we can do these research studies to see what works, what doesn't work, and continue to get better. So if you did enjoy, please like, subscribe, and share this with a friend, as well as scrolling on down and subscribing to both my Instagram and my Substack, where I dive into all the new scientific studies on nutrition, strength and conditioning, endurance, all the rest of it every single day of the week. So make sure you go on and do that. And I'm going to go to the gym right now. It's probably going to be a little bit crowded, but it's okay. And I hope you will too. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll check you all in the next episode.